So, Penguins of Madagascar, which is a spin-off of the ongoing Madagascar franchise. And the story is four penguins who we meet early on in Antarctica, and they go on a series of adventures. And as you know, the way the Madagascar sort of things work, the penguins are sort of smart and intelligent, and they go off on a series of adventures that take them to Shanghai and to America and to all points around the world when they're zipping around in high-powered jet planes, because they've come up against Dave the Octopus, also known as Dr. Octavius Brine, who is developing a fiendish weapon which is going to turn all cuddly penguins into not cuddly penguins in order that octopuses will be more loved in the world. As always with those films, the plot is ramshackle and all over the place, and what it really depends on is whether or not the slapstick jokes are funny. Well, I laughed all the way through, but never as much as I laughed at the very beginning when this happened.
Antarctica, an inhospitable wasteland, but even here, on the Earth's frozen bottom, we find life. And not just any life. Penguins. Joyous, frolicking, waddling, cute and cuddly life. Look at them, tumbling onto their chubby bonbons. Who could take these frisky little snow clowns seriously? Tiny and helpless, the baby penguins are frozen with fear. They know if they fall from this cliff, they will surely die. Gunther, give them a shove.
And the great thing is that the target audience aren't going to really get that.
But it doesn't matter, because I mean, it's a funny little sequence anyway. The screening that I was in, I was sitting next to, I think it was Robbie Collin, and I started laughing, because obviously that's one of those things. I have complained about this in the past. I've complained about cartoons that have got jokes that are aimed only at the parents that the kids aren't going to get. But actually, the way that joke is set up, it's funny whether or not you...
And parents who know who Werner Herzog is and what he does.
And then I thought, that's it. They can't possibly do anything to match that from now on in, because I was crying with laughter at the opening. Instantly, I'm not giving anything away because this has been widely covered that this happened. Actually, the good news is that despite the fact that it's ramshackle, and despite the fact that it's all over the place, and despite the fact that it's woefully ill-disciplined, and it lifts a number of riffs off from the Despicable Me franchise. Incidentally, there's a Minions movie coming, which I suspect will be... I suspect and hope will deliver more on the sort of hefty slapstick front. But I laughed pretty consistently all the way through. And it's a weird one, because it may be that the film started me off on a really good note, and it had just sort of tickled my funny bone. And then I never stopped laughing. Well, I haven't stopped laughing yet. Whatever that 70s song is. I didn't stop laughing all the way through, but it consistently delivered stupid penguin slapstick gags, whether it's John Malkovich being the voice of Dr. Octavius Brine, Dave, or whether it's the penguins falling off things, or whether it's just sort of that nonsensical, dry, dialogue interplay that they have between Kowalski and Skipper and Rico and Private. I laughed pretty consistently. Now, I mention this particularly because when Horrible Bosses came out, Horrible Bosses 2 came out, I literally did not laugh once. And I know that some people have liked Horrible Bosses more than I did. I guarantee you, if you're an adult, you will laugh more at Penguins of Madagascar than you will at Horrible Bosses 2. And obviously, if you're a kid, well, there's no choice, because Horrible Bosses 2 isn't for you. I did think, indeed, it isn't for anybody. So, all over the place, and, milking a franchise and all that stuff, I chuckled. I tittered. I laughed out loud. And at the very, very beginning, I laughed until I almost cried, and then I was probably still laughing at that joke. It's like Spinal Tap. The support band was so bad, the audience was still booing when we were on. I was probably still laughing at jokes that weren't that funny half an hour through the movie, because I was still laughing at Werner Herzog talking about the little chubby bonbons.